Hello, and welcome to Spirit Alliance and Beyond Being Human. My name is Marty Rawson. I'm one of the pilots here at Beyond Being Human. And today we have a very special guest. This lady is very remarkable, and she was one of the first people that Spirit led me to on my incredible journey that started several decades ago. She holds a very special place in my heart, and I wanted to give her a chance to tell her story and share with the world some of the beauty that this beautiful little soul has. So, Kay Chapman, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Marty. It's a pleasure and an honor, actually. I'm happy to be here. I hope I have something that catches the ears of someone who's searching and piques their interest even more.
I'm quite positive you will. What the first question that I wanted to ask was, how did you get started in channeling?
I had a dear friend some many years ago. We've lost touch, but she is clairvoyant, and we got to know each other. And I found out that she did readings, and at first I thought she meant readings at a library, or reading from a book, or reading to kids or something. I did because I tried to always follow my heart, but I figured everybody did that. And anyway, I found out that she meant something very different. And I was like a sponge. She said she did readings and explained what it was. And I said, when can I come? And after that, it was just, I couldn't get enough. But I was not interested. I didn't want to have to learn tarot or astrology, because I wanted it now. I just wanted to do it. So we played a lot with it. And one time she was giving me a reading, and she said, Spirit was there, of course, and they said that I could do this. And well, she used tarot cards. She didn't need them, but she used them because she said it helped the other person relax. They would focus on the cards, but she wasn't reading from the cards. She told me they were saying that I could do this, and I thought, though, that's nuts. And we don't know all that we have inside ourselves. We just don't know. But there's far more there than what we could dream about. So eventually, I just started playing with it with her. I meditated every day. I'd run home from work and meditate and ask questions of spirit. And they were like playful questions, like, okay, on my way to work, I'd say, who's going to be absent today at work? Who's going to not be there? And I'd try really hard to just clear my own self, my own thoughts, and see what would come in. After a while, I learned to trust it, but that's tricky, because you're always thinking, oh, did I think that? It's just, and also at least for me, I had to kind of practice keeping myself out of it. I just wanted it to be spirit. Whatever I was saying, I wanted it to be from spirit. So I had to work on that and trusting, because doubt is our greatest impediment. And so I played, and I would say things like, if I was going to town or to a store, grocery store or something, I'd say, am I going to find a close parking place? and I'd try to hear and answer. And the more I played with it, the better I got at it. It's such a reverent subject. It's so, well, it's so spiritual. But so we tend to take it too seriously, or we try to delve into it with a great seriousness, when spirits have personalities also, and they like us to enjoy. We're here for many reasons, but they like us to enjoy, and this is one of the subjects that I enjoy greatly. And like I said before, I just couldn't get enough of it. Eventually, I started doing readings. It was scary for me, and I would lay out tarot cards, not knowing what they meant at all, but it helped me relax. Actually, what I used initially was a deck called Soul Cards, and they're beautiful paintings, pictures, but they didn't have any meaning. I could focus on them and listen to spirit much easier. And instead of worrying about the person watching me and waiting for something, so I had to get that part out of my mind, because that can be very nerve-wracking, at least for me. And it also helped the person who was seeking information relax more, because they were also looking at the cards and seeing whatever they saw, or just enjoying them. One of the first things I learned was how to clear myself, and that's very, very important. I think everyone develops their own ritual for that, and it probably changes over time. But the one thing that I would absolutely not want to do in any way is to mislead somebody, misinterpret what spirit is trying to give to them. That would be terribly dishonorable in my view. And so I really worked at making sure what I was giving was their words. And if I tried to say something, if I was saying something and trying to get it out there, and I was using the wrong word initially, like if it was too soft or too hard, then I wouldn't be able to get the word out, because I could feel them pulling it back. That's fun to me, because absolutely they are there. And some things that are really hard to get out, because the person receiving the reading they could take it very negatively. I mean, it could be hurtful to them. It could be something they don't want to hear. If whatever they're asking about is not serving them, then it was meant to help them understand, what are they getting out of this relationship, or what are they getting out of this job? Is this feeding their soul somehow? Just any subject. My main thing has always been to be very clear about what I was being given to pass on to the person in front of me. The first time I felt spirit that I remember, well, I will say this. When I was about 4 or 5, I was very much enthralled with Jesus, felt a great infinity with him. And of course, I didn't understand. I just knew that was his name. And I wanted to be where he was. And across the street from where we lived, there was a church. And my parents, they were not church going, but they would walk me over there. And, back in those days, you could let your little ones go into the church and be okay. You knew that they were being taken care of and watched over. And I would enjoy being there with other little kids my age and learning stories and singing songs. And And then when the time was up, my parents were outside to take me back home again. And I've always loved Jesus. And I love the Dalai Lama and Buddha and all of those higher beings, but Jesus was the one who I felt the great attachment to and still do. But when I was 9, we had moved. I was asleep during the night. I've always been a really sound sleeper, but I was awakened and there wasn't a sound, it was a feeling. And I looked at the side of the bed, and there were two spiritual beings there, a male and female. And I was a little startled, but then I settled right into a very peaceful, loving feeling. I'm not sure who they were. It doesn't really matter, but I know that they loved me and they were there to let me know they were there. And they were incredibly loving. It's just pure, pure love. And I just felt that for a few moments and went right back to sleep, but certainly never forgotten it. Over time, I've had other experiences like that, but I always totally believed. I've always had great faith, always had great hope. I'm a very optimistic person. I've always been open to things other than what is normally out there that everybody knows about, like um, out in space, always open to it. I believe that anyone who, as long as what they're worshiping feeds their soul, brings them richness and peace and loving feelings and wanting them to spread those feelings and be kind and loving, then they're in the right place. Doesn't have to be my place, doesn't have to be my way, but we're all who we are, and there isn't one way. There just isn't. Probably for every person on this earth, there's a different way. And my way just works best for me because that's what I know. That's where my heart goes. And nothing's going to change that. It will only grow.
Well, thank you, Kay. That was absolutely beautiful. I would like to make a quick statement here. You spoke about your deep sense of integrity, and I can vouch for that. The first reading that I had from you was after my first act of divine intervention, and Spirit led me directly to you. I will never forget it because I had a legal notepad that I had filled with 2 columns of questions that I had thought up while I was waiting to have the opportunity to have this meeting with you. And you immediately started talking, and I remember it was such a real-time conversation with my angels that I could practically see them. And it was like I was just talking to them through you. It happened so effortlessly. And by the time they got done talking, you and they together had answered every single question that I had on that paper. And that was, to me, just absolutely amazing, because I had to have had at least 100 questions there. And the fact that you nailed every single one of them without failure, okay, was just amazing. And not only did you answer the questions, but I could tell it was from Spirit, from the simple reason that we didn't know each other at all at the time. Mm. But everything that you were saying was worded exactly the way that Spirit knew it needed to be worded in order to get through to me. It was such a personal thing. And I've had a lot of readings since then from other people, but I've never had anybody that compared to you.